Well, our panel had a taste of the chocolates earlier. Jonathan Ross, what did you make of these?
Well, your team, I thought the box was great. I thought it was a great idea, but the chocolates were bloody awful, especially the strawberry and basil. I don't know what you were thinking there. Who wants basil in a chocolate? It tasted absolutely repulsive. Yeah, but having said that, as Alan said to us afterwards, you could tweak that. You know, and the idea was a pretty exciting, you know, it was a good one. I think it was probably a better idea than the chocolates the couple shared, because couples always share chocolates anyway, you know, so using that as a selling point, it was kind of like, that was a bit of a no-brainer. Whereas your thing did, at least you were sort of targeting a different audience, maybe. The box looked great and the chocolates, I guess, can be fixed.
Were you pleased with it?
I think the final task for me was brilliant, really, really good. And it's a testament to these guys, because even though I led it, you know, they were the ones that made it as well.
Well, let's go back to week 2. You certainly went for the cheap and cheerful option with your catering task, with the emphasis being on the cheap.
We're going to go for really budget, low-value tuna and the cheapest chicken that we can get. All of these, we get these, we're going to stick to the cheap ones.
In terms of canopies, it's gigantic.
Fine, by that point they've had too much wine, they won't really notice.
You can do something to make that look more attractive. It looks like you dropped it.
We're going to drizzle it with olive oil. Yeah.
Looks like my 3-year-old nephew's made them.
That's really very strange, I must say.
Very, very well done. 651 quid, even with a few complaints.
So will she be catering for your Christmas party?
Well, I'm always away then, so yes, I suppose so. keep the costs down, yeah. Look, that task was bloody brilliant, really. The margin, I mean, in the history of The Apprentice, and any Apprentice hack will tell you, no one has ever come up with, I think it was a 200% margin, right? And, you know, what I admire about Yasmina is that she listens, you know, listens in the sense that, you know, costs were... I mean, this was task 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what went wrong with task 1? Costs ran away with themselves, and they lost, and she was on a losing team. She's gone into that task and thought to herself, well, look, cost. I'm going to make sure that my costs are low, and I'm going to try and sell at the highest price. You know, any businessman will tell you that's what you need. Shame about how the stuff turned out, I suppose. Yeah, but I wasn't there, so... You didn't poison anybody, did you?
No.
Okay, well, that's fair enough, as long as that didn't.
I don't think so, anyway.
I would say the most agonising moment was that sandalwood oil debacle. A memorable scene, this. A, for Kate's wide-open mouth, and B, for a magnificent kind of understated goodbye from Nick Hewer at the end.
Yeah.
How much did you say?
The oils.
Oils,
So like a
cost
few
us.
quid. A few quid.
So I'll put a £5 for that.
Yeah.
It won't be any more than that now.
No.
How much does sandalwood cost a kilo, do you think?
£1,072 or something, is it?
So what would 450 grams
450 grams?
No, half of 450... Shit.
Anyway, I'll leave it with you.
I think I may have jammed open in that position, actually. Can you describe that feeling in the pit of your stomach?
Oh, it was just horrendous. Literally like your heart dropping out the bottom of your pants. It was horrible, 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 because you just felt immediately guilty, and that feeling of guilt just overrides everything, and then you're sorry, but at the same time you've got to carry on the task, and then you know that you've got to go into the boardroom with Paula and Ben, and you've got to face Sir Alan, and yeah, testing times.
So as you look back over the series, what would you say about the calibre of the candidates as a whole?
Well, do you know, I tell you, I'm going to do another series. One thing I'm going to also do is I'm going to tell my wife to not order the newspapers every day. I'm sick and tired of reading in the newspapers people kind of, you know, running down these people, right? Because, you know, let me look you all in the face there and tell you that the class of 2009 was one of the best, well, I think the best mob that I've had. Let me tell you one thing. If I got my friend Bill Gates and Richard Branson and Philip Green, and I stuck them in a house and rang them 7:30 in the morning and got them out of bed and said, here's a pile of toot here, which you've got to go and value, and you've got to go and sell, and you've got to be back here at 9 o'clock tonight, OK? I'm telling you, they wouldn't know what to do. Absolutely would not know what to do. And so this mob are a great mob.
Let's have a look at a couple of members of this marvellous mob. One woman, I think she'd do very well as a gangster's mob. She's certainly got balls, this woman.
I'm happy to be project manager every single week.
She doesn't take me as the boardroom, it would be a waste of a good suit.
I sold more than you and James combined.
I think that Ben was involved in the books.
How can you say that when I called in the morning?
You ever open a mouth like that again, don't even bother to come back in this boardroom. You got me?
Yes, Simon.
So, Deborah, what do you make of her?
Well, you know, this is the brilliance of the Apprentice process, I've got to tell you, because you've got 12 weeks to get to know the people. Someone who starts out looking brilliant, or someone who starts out looking a bit aggressive, Deborah. But at the end of it, we all warmed to her, really. I know Nick and Margaret did, and certainly I did. And you know what? It suddenly dawned upon us one day. This girl is 23 years old. And we're sitting there talking to her as if, you know, well, you're supposed to know this and you're supposed to know that, but she's 23 years old. So on that final boardroom last week, you know, if this decision between Kate and Yasmina was difficult, that was another one. You know, and as I said, did I let the wrong person go and all that stuff, but great kid.
Deborah, you'd like to respond to that?
I'm just very grateful for what Sir Alan's kind of done for all of us, and for giving me the chance and keeping me into week 11 to prove myself and maybe learn a life lesson, not just a business lesson.
And let's, thanks for that, Deborah. Let's move on to James. We could do a whole programme on James's memorable moments. I will miss him. Many times he had his foot in his mouth. There were two bits of amusement when he did this. First, what he said, and then the sight of him furiously backpedalling when he realised what he'd said. And here's the best example of that.
We thought, right, let him, this young patsy, make sandwiches.
Simon, you're totally wrong.
Let him go in there, bury himself.
Simon, you're wrong, and I'll tell you why you're wrong, because I wanted to win this task. I really wanted to. There's no point. That other lot are out there now riding around on horses, and I'm sitting here having to look at you, and I don't mean that disrespectfully.
That is my wife's favourite, I think. all of the whole 5 years of the series. She jumped out of her chair, and she's seen it a few times, and she cannot resist laughing at that. It's absolutely and he meant it also. He did mean it, you know, and it was great. I think even I smiled, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Eventually.
Yeah.
But there's more to him than the court jester, isn't there?
Yeah, of course there is. And yeah, OK, they made some mistake on the sandalwood, cedarwood, whatever it was, and the costs will weigh out. A lot of people would have just said, well, that's it. We're dead in the water now. Let's give up. And he did come up with some good things, and that's why he lasted to where he did.
Yeah. Let's move on to Philip and Kate and the sweet sound of romance.
Philip is very funny.
Great conversationalist.
He's got a great personality.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I fancy the girl. She's gorgeous. So I hate to say, but looking like the way she does, I want to do business with her time and time again.